Morning, guys. Yeah. Morning, Shadow. Good morning, Sergey. Good morning, Keith. Good morning, Trader Dubois. Good morning, Tracy. Good morning, Rex. All right, guys. Sorry for the little delay here. Finally got my XFA set up. So in addition to my funded account, I have an XFA account now. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Do you took your long on Bitcoin? No, I didn't, Trader Dubois. Maybe I needed to, I don't like trading markets like that right away without knowing that these levels are actually going to hold. But it is a good data point, Trader Dubois, to see that Bitcoin respects levels like other markets. So I need to do a little further. I need to do a little further testing on Bitcoin to really kind of test it in full. Okay. I love the way the market interacts with it. Yes. Value areas are definitely areas that the market respects. So let's go ahead and guys. I'm glad you are applying what we're discussing here into your incorporating what resonates with you and things of that nature. Again, like I've said before in these kind of sessions, trust that what I'm saying to you is accurate. But at the end of the day, we all need to verify, right? In our back testing, right? I'm just not going to take someone's word that says, oh well, Bitcoin, trusts the same levels that you outline in your classes. I said, well, that's great. I trust that that's accurate, but then I need to arrive at that conclusion myself. Okay. So, like I said, it was the first time I did any sort of review of Bitcoin. I identified some really crude levels of areas that I would be interested in participating, and sure enough, the market reacted off of those levels, and I think it's been on a bull run ever since. Okay. All right. Excellent. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, I'm always happy to hear folks kind of reach maybe similar conclusions that I have in some of the things that I look at. So that's always nice to hear. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off by looking at the risk disclosure, guys. Again, just want to remind everyone that I'm here in any sort of investment advisory capacity here. Okay, information market trader and its affiliates. The information is to be treated as general information only. Okay. None of the information is to be treated as investment advice and offered to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, future company or fund. We all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk and that we should only be using risk capital that we can otherwise afford to lose without compromising our financial security or lifestyle. Okay. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay. All right. So now that we got the risk disclosure out of the way, we'll go ahead and move into the news. Morning, David. We'll move into the news and see what the news has in store. Okay. So we'll move this over here, get it out of the way here, and come back to my screen. Okay. There we are. Hopefully that's visible to you guys. Okay. So you can see here on the left-hand side, we do have a fair amount of news today. Okay. We have Fed members speaking at 10 a.m. For those who trade crude oil, we have inventories Okay, that's kind of like the equivalent, I would say, of say FOMC for crude oil on a weekly basis. Okay, that it's a news event that could cause the crude oil market to move in unanticipated ways. Okay, so we have Fed member Cook, Fed member Bowen speaking. We have information about 20-year bonds coming in at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then we have Collins speaking at the tail end of the session here. And then NVIDIA, okay, reports earnings today. Okay. So for those who trade equities, that might be something that could cause, I don't know, maybe leading into the market. I'm not sure, but certainly afterwards, right? I'm sure that NVIDIA represents a good chunk of the activity that we see in the Nasdaq. Okay, all right. So now that we have a kind of an understanding of the news that is headed our way, okay. Yeah, yeah, it's possible. Hopefully, yeah, because some of this range behavior cannot be can be something that is not necessarily easy to trade, right? So yes, it's definitely the possibility of maybe breaking out of our doldrums to some degree. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and move on to the charts. Again, I'm coming back to some of my charts that I've used in the past here, guys. And now that I have my XFA here kind of set up here, I can now come back to some of the accounts that I like to look at. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and open up the gold here, and then we're gonna open up. I thought it was opening gold. Looks like I'm opening a bunch of other things. Let's see if I can maybe navigate this over here. All right, let's see. I think we are GCZ, I believe. Well, let's just see the continuous contract. All right, that's the safest. All right. Okay. All right. So let's turn off some of the levels that we have drawn here on my chart. I'm going to go ahead and turn everything off here. And we need to ask her now. Gold of late has been kind of squirrely. Okay, to put it lightly. Yeah, I would say that I prefer commodities. Okay, I'm gonna be perfectly frank with you. I prefer the commodity market. They move in much more defined ways. Um, I think sometimes, especially the case with equity markets like the Nasdaq. I don't. My mindset doesn't necessarily resonate with the way it moves. Okay, and I'm sure that's probably the case for a lot of us, right? So, but yeah, so the commodities have allowed me to kind of trade my processes the way I would like. But at the end of the day, an A plus setup is an A plus setup, right? So if I see an A plus setup in equities that is aligned with my strategy, I don't hesitate to take it either. Okay, it's just that I have a couple of markets that I look for these kinds of setups that are ahead of equities. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. All right, so I'm looking at the daily here, guys. Looking at the daily. You're welcome. Looking at the daily, we have a series of candles. Looks like we're beginning in the beginning stages of a potential rally in this market. Okay. We had I would say a pretty good, sell off in gold. And now, as we, I guess, come to the end of the year and maybe people realize that maybe their portfolios are not looking the way they'd like to look, maybe some money is moving into to the gold market. Okay. Historically, this time of year has always been good for gold. Okay, Q4 and into Q1 has always been a good time for gold. So we might be in store for another stretch along those kind of lines, and looks like we're getting a little bit of a start to it. Okay. I might have mentioned that this 2625 level might have served as an area of resistance. Well, we've broken through that. Okay. The next level on the horizon here, I guess, is around 2,700. I would say 2,700 could potentially serve as another area. I'm going to maybe go ahead and draw a line in the sand here. This 2,700 seems like a level. Yeah, we might be headed into rollover. Right now, I'm using the continuous contract, Keith. So I suspected that might be the case. So I'm using the continuous contract to avoid having to understand that at the moment. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a little line here at 2,700, guys. I suspect that 2,700 is not going to be something that we just plow through without any sort of maybe sideways price movement, or maybe even a little bit of a pullback from that level. Okay. So 2,700, I have marked on my charts. Again, these are daily charts, right? These moves don't happen in a blink of an eye, right? I suspect that it will take some time to get us to 2,700. Okay, but it's certainly not that far from getting there. Okay. All right, moving on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart. Okay, we're seeing similar kinds of things as I mentioned. Here we are starting to create some structure that indicates that there are some a fair number of buyers in this market. We broke some structure here above 2620. Okay, now we have another level here that looks like that could be maybe resistant. Okay, in anticipation that I mentioned before. This area right here, this 2660, 2661. I see that it was a prior level of support that was since broken. I don't consider it as strong as necessarily as 2,700, but this level here could pose a bit of a challenge for the gold market. Okay, so we'll have to see how price reacts around this level. Right now, we're a little bit consolidating in the overnight trade. Okay, not really giving us a clear direction. All right, other than the fact that it's maybe kind of digesting the move that it's made here to the upside. All right, looking at the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. We're going to go ahead and start opening up some of these indicators now that we got to a level here. I have the 2661 there that I got from a higher time frame. That's going to serve maybe as a potential. Could serve as a potential target, assuming that we can get above 2645. Otherwise, there's nothing that says that we can't stay in the range, right? If you look at this chart as of Tuesday, right, and here we are Wednesday, we've been in this kind of range in the market, right? We could not get above 2645, and we're 2625 seems to be another level. Okay, so 2625, 2645. We kind of a 20-point window there that we've been kind of trading between. Okay, we have a developing kind of bearish candle. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my initial balance here if I can find it. There it is. There's my initial balance range. I'm going to go ahead and change that because I already have a lot of blue on my charts. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and modify this to yellow. Okay. So there's this is my initial balance range that's being established. Okay. In an otherwise market that, is I would say kind of bullish, but coming into an area maybe of a supply area that could cause the market to maybe come back down. Okay. Next order of business for me would be to draw in my fixed range volume profile here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and locate the what time does IB set on GC? In another 45 minutes. So I go from 8:30 to 9:30 on gold. Okay, I know that technically gold opens up at 8:20 in the morning, but I use the 8:30 to 9:30 window when I'm reviewing gold, or arriving at initial balance for gold. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and set up my volume profile here. Okay, so here we have it. All right, this is my volume profile, and you can see right now we're kind of flirting with the top of value area high. Okay, this area right here, right? So I'm going to go ahead and extend this line over to the right. Okay, so you can maybe see this better, right? So this is value area high, and we're kind of flirting with it a little bit, right? So price exceeded value, right? That's a bullish event. And now it's coming back to maybe potentially retest the conviction of whoever brought this price higher. Okay. Now, with that said, if price comes back inside value, then I would say that we have a fair chance that we could rotate through the entire range of value. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and extend this line here as well. This is my value area low. Okay, that's my value area low. So if price does come back inside value, then we have a fair chance of price heading all the way through value. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up VWAP. VWAP, there's our VWAP level. We're going to go ahead and add the anchored VWAP. Okay, the anchored VWAP is going to be, I'm going to use this level down here. Notice that we every time we come into the open of London, that always seems to create a little bit of a pivot. I need to start maybe staying up for this London session, because it does offer some nice reversal opportunities. Okay, so here we are going to go ahead and draw in my anchored VWAP. You can see here that these are maybe a couple of locations where we can manage our risk, right? We have the daily VWAP and we have our anchor VWAP that could serve as maybe a reference level to support a long trade. Okay, right? That's kind of what I'm seeing now. Okay, we have our VWAP kind of sloping higher. We have our anchored VWAP definitely sloping higher. Our ADX indicator is indicating that there's a fair amount of momentum in this move. Our volume delta is telling us that looks like maybe we've gotten some seller volume. This could be London traders closing out their trades, right? Closing out their trades for the evening. I think all these levels that we mentioned so far, Rex, could be easy levels that you can use, including point of control. Okay, I personally I don't often unless there's some other confluence that I see, I don't often initiate trades off of point of control. But as you can see here, point of control is landing right on top of this anchored VWAP. Okay, so I don't necessarily use point of control as the as an entry area. I use it more as a target. Okay, but if I have some other elements that maybe are confluent with that view, then maybe. Okay, because if you think of point of control, that is the point at which the greatest volume of transactions have taken place. Do I really want to participate in an area where there's the greatest chance of indecision? Probably not, right? It's kind of like coming home. It's kind of if you have some kids that are leaving for college, and so point of control is kind of the safe haven. Okay, right? It's kind of the home base. All right. Now, could you get a reversal off of point of control? Certainly. Okay. Me personally, I would want to see something other than just point of control. I would want to see some confluence of something else to support that view. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and add our levels here, guys. So we'll go ahead and add our levels that we'll be tracking in this market here. All right. Go ahead and paste that in. All right. There's our levels. Okay, down here in the bottom left-hand corner, bottom right-hand corner. So like I said, right now, right, looking at this chart, you have to think that we probably should be looking at bullish trades in this market, right? There's nothing here that indicates that necessarily we should be looking at bearish trades, right? Okay. So I mean, the only caveat that I would make here is the fact that we are up against maybe a supply area. We're up against an area where we've seen sellers before. Okay, so that could cause, if we're kind of in a rangy kind of market, that could cause price to reverse. But if we're buyers anyway, we shouldn't be necessarily looking to buy the top of the market, right? We shouldn't be looking to buy the top of the market, right? We should be looking at buying at areas where we can manage our risk. And I would say that maybe down at anchored VWAP or daily VWAP, or maybe even the top of this value area range. Okay. But for now, I'm going to be looking for, something that would indicate to me what market participants, because as you can see from these candles, there's a fair amount of indecision as to where to take this market, right? We have wicks on both ends currently. Okay. So this doesn't really right now doesn't really indicate that there is a strong push in either direction. Okay. Right. We got pushes on both sides. All right. So let's see. We're going to maybe spot check some of these levels. 2635 is settlement value area high is also coming in at that level. We got 2628 as our value area low, 2627, which that's good enough for government work. We got 2630-ish, 31-ish as our point of control. We got settlement at 2635, I believe. Let's open this up here. Actually, 2631 is our settlement price. So we'll go ahead and modify that. 2631. Okay. All right. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the gold market. I would say that right now, if I had to pick a direction, it would probably need to be bullish, but I would probably need to wait for a better level to participate. Right. I need to see maybe a slight pullback into an area like value area high or anchor VWAP or daily VWAP, at which point I could manage my risk and maybe support a continuation trade to the upside. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the gold market. Not seeing any questions at the moment. So we'll go ahead and move on to the crude oil market. Okay. So here we are. We're going to go ahead and open this up here. We'll change this to it's reading the continuous contract. We'll go ahead and turn off some of the things that we are looking at here. Okay. Supply and demand, ASR. Okay. And we're just going to take as clean a look as we can into this market. Okay. And, leading into inventories, we're starting to see that maybe we're picking up a little bit of momentum. Okay. For a move to the upside. Okay. We're starting to see that the ADX indicator is indicating that whatever direction we're moving right now, that it's carrying a fair amount of momentum behind it. Now, our positive DI, our green line here, is starting to, curl up, and our negative, which is our bearish kind of line, is starting to curl down. Okay. So indicating that there is a fair amount of momentum supporting this current move to the upside. Okay. Looking at the volume delta is really not giving us any indication either way. Although at this candle here, back on Monday did carry a bit of volume right to the upside. Okay. But since then, we've, been kind of light with respect to, we have basically orders coming in on both sides. All right. All right. Let's move on to the 4-hour chart and see what the 4-hour chart has to say. Again, continue to show signs that we are moving higher in this market. Okay. We see a lot of overlapping candles, but nonetheless, the candles are still sloping higher. We have not seen any major lows in this market. There was a couple of attempts to get lower only to be rejected. So I would say that on the 4-hour chart, it's showing signs that there's maybe some more upside to this market. And as you can see here, our positive DI crossed above our negative, came back, touched it again, and continued to the upside. Now, only thing that's really not, embracing the momentum is the ADX itself, the momentum indicator itself. That's not showing any signs that there's a very strong move at the moment. Okay. All right. So for our bullish, move on to the 30-minute chart. Okay. This is where we start to do a little bit of volume analysis here, see where prices are in reference to our volume profile and things of that nature. Okay. So we'll take a closer look at this and see what is brewing in crude oil. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my fixed range volume profile. Okay. And we'll go ahead and locate the start of Tuesday here. okay, which is back here somewhere. So just have to navigate the chart back there. All right, right about there. Okay, that's the start of the session. I'm going to go ahead and drag that to the close, right about there. Okay, and you can see, all right, you can see that price is currently above value. Okay, so with price being currently above value, my sentiment on this current market, it would have to be to the bull side. Okay, right. I'm going to go ahead and draw that in as blue. Okay, that's our value area range, right? So as long as price can remain above this value range, then I think there's a fair chance that we continue to the upside. Okay, as long as price can stay above this line. Now, if price on the open, which I think it's already has happened, if price starts to move into this area, okay, into the value area, okay, then we start to open up the opportunity where price could potentially navigate its way all the way down to the other end of value. Okay, but I'm not seeing that at the moment. Right now, I'm seeing price that's not moving all that much. Okay, it looks like either I'm stuck or price is not moving. Is it just me or price not moving? Okay, there it is. All right. So very lethargic moves. Very right now at the moment, not really moving the way I would expect. Honestly, this very lethargic moves that we're seeing in this. Let's see, initial balance. Open this up. I don't know why my initial balance range is not getting drawn. Okay, we should be getting an initial balance. Not sure why. Interesting. Okay, this is the 5:45 candle. Where's the 6 o'clock candle? Oh, I'm dealing with delayed data. Why is that? Okay, okay, this could explain it. Of course, I was afraid that might happen. Okay, let's move on to this candle right here. Let's change this to, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and change this now. Okay, this is better. Okay. All right. This is a little bit better. So we have a relatively narrow initial balance range that's being established. Again, I'm going to go ahead and draw in my fixed range volume profile. Fixed range. Okay, good. All right. Fixed range volume profile. We're going to go ahead and locate the start of the session from yesterday, drag that across. Okay, so here we are. Again, this is our value area high, which we're kind of flirting with a little bit. And this is our value area low. So like I said, as long as price stays above value, then I think there's a fair opportunity for a continuation move to the upside. Now, one thing that I will say is that we're coming into, let's go ahead and get rid of this here, I think, if we can. One thing I will say, we are coming into a psychological level of 70. Okay. So 70 could potentially be resistant in this market. I actually was calling for 70 in yesterday's session. That wasn't necessarily in the cards. It kind of gave us a little bit of a fake out move, but was calling for 70 in yesterday's session. Right. All right. So 70 is very much obviously there. Okay. Well, price is at that level. Okay. So that 70 level could provide maybe some resistance. We have our ADR level here at 70.23. Okay, that could be another area that where a price could reverse. So Hoag's weekly high is 70.10. Yeah, so this area could, this entire area here could offer us maybe some potential pullback in the market. Like I said before, we have a fair amount of momentum to the upside. We have our positive DI also positive here. So again, I think there's a fair amount of momentum to the upside. I'm going to go ahead and open up my ASR here. Okay, so ASR is coming in at 70.38. Okay, so again, there's fair amount of range. Okay, the only thing that maybe is causing me, yes, there is inventories today. Correct. So we would probably be better served to wait for inventories to happen here in the next hour and a half. Okay, before we make any sort of committed trade into this market. Okay, that could explain the kind of the lethargic kind of price action that we've seen so far, right? That there is news coming and nobody wants to stand in front of that news. Okay, so I would say that you would probably be best served in waiting for that news event to take place, and then maybe 15 minutes or maybe up to a half hour after the news, maybe at that point looking for opportunities. But right now, I would say if I had to choose a direction, I would say the direction would be bullish. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and draw my little anchored VWAP here, trying to pick exactly which location. I'm going to use this pivot here, and you can see that price is above that as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add our levels here. I'm just going to go ahead and add our levels to this chart. Okay, so here we have them. All right, here are our levels. Okay, so these are our levels that we'll be tracking in this market. Just going to spot check some of these things. We have 69.48 as our value area high. So I'm going to modify that. 69.48, and the value area low is 68.95. That's within tolerances. We have our 4-hour supply that I mentioned here at 70. Okay, which could cause the market to stall. Settlement price is coming in at 69.24. That seems to be aligned. Point of control coming in at 69. What was that? 69.26. I had it. Maybe could modify that as well. It's not really telling us much of anything other than that this 69.25 level would be an interesting area maybe to look for to participate in the market. Okay. Let's see. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what I have for the crude oil market, guys. So I would say that we probably need to remain a bit patient. Okay. We can't really take a preemptive entry here in any direction. We probably want to wait for the market to kind of establish itself here a little bit. Wait for the inventory reports to come out, and then come back to crude oil after that. Okay, so that's kind of what I have for crude oil. Looking to see if there's any questions. Looking a bit different. Yeah, I'm looking at the continuous contract, Sergey. So I would expect that the continuous contract should be very much aligned with what prices are now. The continuous contract allows me to look at things a little bit on a higher time frame. Yeah, these are pretty big candles to define risk, no doubt. That's why I kind of prefer the 15-minute candle, although even the 15-minute candle does not provide us a really solid way of managing our risk, top to bottom. That's not too bad. I mean, I think 30 ticks is probably the norm that you would need to support in any trade, into anywhere between 30 to 35 ticks. And if that's too rich, then you can always trade the micros. Okay. All right. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have for crude oil, guys. I think right now it's a time to kind of sit on our hands in this particular instrument. Let the market and let the news come out. Yes. Yeah, micros are definitely a way for us to manage our risk, no doubt. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the equity markets, and look at our favorite equity market, and that is the Nasdaq. Okay, so let's take a look to see what the Nasdaq is doing. Okay, we're about 20 minutes or so away from the start of the opening of the session here. Looking at the daily chart. Okay, so we're seeing wicks on both ends. Turn off some of these levels here. Okay. Let's remove all our drawings. Okay. So we need to understand exactly what the market is trying to accomplish here. Okay. So right now, I would say that it looks like it wants to rally. Okay. We have our anchor VWAP from Wednesday of last week. Looks like, or even beyond that, right? It's doing garbage on top of range. Just going to wait. Yeah. So yeah, really not much. I would say I would agree. Okay, this kind of rangy kind of stuff is certainly not worth trading. We had a nice push up, but now we've kind of drifted down to an area where we could expect to see some buyers. Can't say that the buyers have been super aggressive. Okay, we've received some buying, but not. I wouldn't necessarily call it aggressive buying. Okay. All right. So daily chart, okay, if you look at this from left to right, is still indicating bullish pricing, bullish price action. Okay. Now what it might be doing, yeah, it's still bullish. Okay. I was going to say that maybe this might be a retracement, but it's already above some of the swings and it's challenging those levels again. So right now on the daily chart, I would have to say that the market remains bullish. I don't see that we've broken any significant structure to the downside. If we do get below 20,000, okay, 20,000 would be kind of my level to maybe potentially change my opinion. But right now, as long as we stay above 20,000, then I would say that the market remains bullish, and this is just merely a pullback of this swing here. Okay. All right. Looking at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, we've been like Rex is mentioning here, we've been kind of drifting here a little bit. I do see that we had a swing lower, which could create an opportunity maybe for maybe an extension, okay, to the downside. I don't know what to make of these last few candles, but these last few candles, including the bearish engulfing candle, that could indicate to me that maybe there might be maybe a move lower based on this. Because now looking at this, I see this as kind of the swing that's the controlling swing, and this merely is just a little bit of a retracement. Okay, so yeah, it's not out of the question on the 4-hour that we can continue lower in this market. Okay, all right. Let's move on to the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart. Okay, so here we are. Price is below our. We've been kind of waffling in and out of our daily VWAP. Okay, not really giving us any direction. Okay, there's no real trend here. Okay, we've been topping out at not quite 21,000 and bottoming out at 20,750. I don't know. Maybe the market is waiting on some earnings that's coming. NVIDIA coming out today. That could explain this kind of rangy kind of price action. Now, if we do get below 20,750, then I would say that could create a domino effect, maybe down to 20,625. But we still need to get below 20,750. We're not there yet, although it's showing signs that possibility might occur. Okay. But we've been down this road before, right? We've had candles kind of indicate to us that maybe there's a sell-off looming, but then we rally back up again. So behavior that is consistent with range. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at initial balance is not going to tell us anything. This is not open. There's our ADR range. There's our ASR range. Yeah, managed risk is definitely. Again, unless you're good at range trading, it's probably not a market I want to be a part of. Okay. I'm gonna wait for a better level, to be honest, in order to participate in this market. I think this market, the current market that's we're in right now, is a market where combines go to die. Right. This type of market is where combines go to die. Right. Oh, it's going to go higher. Nope. Got reversed. Oh, it's going to go lower. Nope. Going to reverse. Right. Don't. I think we need to see a definitive move in one direction, and then at that point react to that. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here and see where we are in reference to value. I suspect that we might be inside the range. I don't know that for certain, but I suspect, given the price action I'm seeing, that we probably are inside value. Okay. And sure enough, here we are inside value, right? On the top end of value, but nonetheless inside of it. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and extend this line here. Okay. And we've been bouncing in and around value for some time, right? The moment, yeah, the moment we think that maybe it's going to make a rotation through value, buyers step into the market. Okay. We got a clear indication that maybe price is going to close. It closed, and then we get a rally. Now we're back at the same level again. Okay. So right now, again, not really giving us much indication as to what the direction is. If I had to guess as to the direction of this market, I would say that it would be lower. Okay. But I don't forecast, right? I react, right? So we're going to go ahead and launch our Anchor VWAP. Our Anchor VWAP is telling us much of the same. As long as we stay below this Anchor VWAP, I would say that there's a fair opportunity for price to continue lower. Okay. Right. Yes. Yes, exactly. Right. We, at the moment we think that we're going to go short, the market turns on us and we're stopped out of a trade that we thought was going to go down to the floor. Okay. So in any case, right now, I would say that, with about 13 minutes away from the market opening here, I think we would be better served in understanding and waiting for initial balance to establish, and then deciding from initial balance to see whether there's an opportunity after the initial balance. Okay. If we do get an extension one way or the other, like I said before, I think right now, if I were to guess if I were to guess on the direction, it would be lower. Okay. All right. So yeah, if range is not your style of trade, then you're probably best served in looking at another market like commodities. Okay. Or something else. Okay. This looks like it's kind of rangy. Okay. All right. Last thing I need to do here is add my levels. So we'll do that here. Okay. Although right now it's a bit rangy, certainly not trending in any one direction. Okay. So these are our levels. We have our value area high coming in at 792, value area low coming in at 630 or 636. Okay, well, let's modify that. This is more 630 than 36. Okay. We have our ADR high and our ASR high here, all coming at the higher levels. We're kind of in the middle of the range, close to point of control. So yeah, so I think the levels are accurate. Again, I'd like to wait for price to get to maybe some extreme here. Right now, I am at value area high, so that could be something I can use maybe for a potential trade lower, with maybe a stop above. Okay. But that's a pretty rich stop, assuming that this is going to be the swing that's going to cause the market to go lower, which I don't know for a fact. I think what we would be better served to do is to wait for price to do its thing, to break out of this structure. Okay. And then once it breaks out of the structure, then look to look for a retracement back into it. Okay. The moment I tell them that's going to go lower, it does just that, right? Okay. So that's kind of what that's the path that I would like to follow. Is I'd like to see a definitive move outside this range and then look for an opportunity on a pullback, okay, to the short side. I don't want to be the first one. I don't want to be the first one to anticipate a move lower. Okay. All right. I think that's all I have for the NASDAQ. We'll go ahead and open up the ES. Okay, so the ES is almost, it seemed like a copy of what we're seeing on the NASDAQ. Okay, we'll take a look. We'll take a peek here on the daily chart. All right, daily chart. We're seeing a rejection candle underway. All right, Keith. We're seeing a rejection candle underway here, being developed on the daily in an otherwise move that really feels like it's up, but with this rounding top, it could be creating a little bit of a range. Okay, here. All right. So we'll have to see how this. You're welcome, Frizu. We'll have to see how this plays out over the course of the day. Yes, I would say that. I don't think there's really any rush to get into this market until a more definitive direction is established. No doubt. Okay. So I will say again, we did get a push higher. We got a little bit of a pullback. I'm not really, excuse me. I'm not really excited by the reaction that we received so far. Okay. I would expect a little bit stronger move to this direction, but it doesn't seem to be in the cards at the moment. Okay. So moving on to the 4-hour chart. Okay. 4-hour chart. Okay. We had our little push higher that probably excited a lot of traders to the upside, only to be met with sellers. Okay. So this is now looking more like kind of like what we were saying in the NASDAQ. This is more looking like that maybe the market wants to head lower. Now, out of all the candles here, this is these two by far are the strongest candles, right? This candle right here is definitely indicating that maybe there's some momentum to the upside, but there's no follow through on that. Okay, that was just a blip, and then we've stalled ever since. Okay, all right. So 4-hour chart again, I would say that probably indicating a little bit bearish to me. Okay, if I look at these swings, this looks like it wants to head lower. 30-minute chart, similar kind of thing. Okay, we are looks like we have exceeded our average daily ranges. Okay, in Tuesday, and now we are up at the upper end here. So one thing I'd like to do is to draw in my fixed range volume profile, okay, and see where price is in relation to the volume. Okay, so I'm gonna locate the start of the session here. It's right here. Drag that across to the close of the session, right about here, and you can see that we're well inside value. Okay, so again, indicating, yeah, it's hard to bet against America. Correct. It's we're inside balance. Okay, so that could lead us to kind of rangy kind of price action. All right, we're very close to this point of control that, if not on top of point of control from yesterday. So again, could this be an area where we reverse? It's possible. I'm more of the camp that maybe we come back down to some of these levels below us. Okay, that's my camp. I'm thinking maybe more value area lowish is kind of the area that I would like to be a part of if I'm thinking of a bullish trade. Okay. All right. Let's see. Initial balance is not quite ready, so we'll go ahead and add our levels for this market. Okay. Here we are. There's our levels. We have our value area high coming in at 59.4650. We have settlement coming in at 59.20. Is that right? 59, actually not 20, 59, 38.75. Okay, 38.75 here. Okay, that's our settlement price. So point of control right about this level here at 34, looks like to me. This looks like more 34 rather than 26. Okay. All right. So yeah, I think right now, again, if I'm a seller, well, actually, let me go ahead and draw my anchor VWAP. Okay, anchor VWAP. I'm going to draw it at the top of the London session. So yeah, all indications right now are indicating that maybe we are in for maybe some downside move in this market. Okay. If I'm a buyer, well, a buyer, I would have to maybe look at this value area low, might look at this ADR or ASR low at 59.25. That might be an area where we might reverse off of if I'm a buyer. Okay. Otherwise, I probably need to focus my attention on looking for opportunities. Yes, all VWAPs point to lower pricing. Correct. Right. So the question is, do I want to sell at this point, sell at this lowest level, or do I want to wait to see maybe if it pulls back to say 59.40, which is the most recent support level, and use 59.40 as a reference level to support a short? Okay. That's what I would be looking for, right? So this right here would be kind of my kind of go zone for if I was kind of looking for a reversal, not reversal, a continuation trade. Okay. 59.40. I'm always hesitant to kind of participate on the very lowest point. Okay. If I'm going to be short or bearish, I want to sell a little bit of strength. Okay. If I'm bearish, if I'm bullish, well, I want to buy weakness. Okay. That's kind of the general mantra that I have when I approach executions. Okay. All right. Let's close off this session, guys, with a quick look at the YM. Excuse. Let's see. YM. Okay. Let's see if I can get to the right chart. All right. Similar story. We'll take a quick peek at the daily. Daily is telling us, I would say that the Dow is probably even weaker than the other markets. Okay. Although we've gotten a pretty strong push to the upside, a little bit of a reaction here. But nonetheless, it still remains it's looking like it wants to head lower here. Okay. The only thing that maybe is causing me a little bit of pause is this strong push that we gotten up to the upside, and we have this kind of buying wick here. Okay. So, but otherwise, it looks like the trend is lower. Okay. In an otherwise larger bullish market. Okay. Looking at the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart, again, we're making these kind of series of lower highs and lower lows. Okay, again, we got this relatively strong 3-bar reversal candle, thinking that maybe the market was going to go up on that. Not in the cards. On the contrary, it stalled. It stalled at 43,534, and now it's looking more and more like that it wants to head a little bit lower. Volume delta seems to be aligned with that as well. Okay. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. Here we are again below some of the things that we care about. We're going to go ahead and draw our anchored VWAP here right at the start of London, right about here. You can see that's below. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. And for the start of Tuesday, drag that across. And looks like the market just opened. So you can see you can see that price is inside value. Okay, so it's balanced, right? So again, probably need to be a little bit patient with this market. We're going to need to let the kind of the initial balance ranges kind of establish here in order for us to before any sort of executions in this market. Okay, so we're right around settlement. Okay, we got a reaction off of settlement. Now the question is this going to continue lower and traverse through the entire range of value and head down to, say, a level like this as a target? Okay, is that a possibility? Well, what stands in its way is the average session range and the average daily range. We have 43,318 on the average session range low, and we have similar level 43,316 as our average daily range low. Okay, so we are getting like I said, a little bit of reaction away from the settlement price. Would really like to see price close above I would say 43,544 for me to really embrace the longs in this market. Okay. Otherwise, just like the other markets we've been talking about, this market looks like it's in kind of a range here. Okay. We buy the lows, sell the highs. Okay. I don't know if this is a big enough range to be profitable. It makes for very difficult trading. Okay. So yeah. So again, equity markets, I would say that are a bit on the rangy side. I probably would focus my attention on maybe opportunities that present themselves in commodities. Copper might be another one. Platinum might be another one. Some other markets that you might want to take a look at. Okay. All right. Taking a peek here. A little larger till it's not. Yeah. Okay. Not seeing anything, direct questions being asked of the markets at the moment. So like I said, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait for this initial balance range to establish. Once the initial balance range is established, then I'm going to take a look and see what opportunities present themselves after the initial balance range. And if I do get a break of initial balance to the downside, as kind of what I'm expecting at the moment, then I would take an execution and look for maybe a target down to ASR low, or maybe down to value area low. Okay, that would be kind of my first kind of target for any sort of short trade. Okay. If price does manage to get above 43,540, or if it breaks above the initial balance high and breaks also above these anchor VWAPs that I've drawn, then I can switch allegiance to the longs and look for an opportunity that maybe could take us all the way up to 43,708, which would make for a very nice opportunity. Okay. All right. I think that's it for me, guys. I'm going to see if I can get some water here as I prepare myself for the session at hand. Otherwise, I'm going to close the session off and wish you guys an excellent trading day. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a market, trade like a pro, be a market trader. All right. All right, Thomas. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, don't be shy with the subscribes and likes, guys, as you exit the session. As I mentioned, there are changes in the horizon here with respect to these reviews that I'm doing. It's probably going to be behind a membership, some sort of membership that I'm going to be creating. Okay, so be aware of that. And like I said, if I'll as a thank you to the subscribers that have stuck with me in the early days, we'll reward them with some level of discount of some sort. Okay. Until then, guys, I'll be popping into the Coach's Raise room. Okay, we'll spend some time there initially, and then we'll have group coaching later this afternoon, and see if maybe if I actually take a trade today. Okay. All right. Until then, have an excellent session. Talk to you guys later.